So in the last episode, we just ran the Spring Boot, and now we are going to post this. Let's hit this. I have a drug business object who's got ID 13 and then name XYZ, and I'm going to send it. Okay, I got the reply. So it is working now. Let's see. If our log shows something. Yeah, it's inside published tab. That means it has gone inside our subscriber. So far so good. And we are able to publish a message. We are able to subscribe a message. But note here that why did I use a binder, enable binding? The simple reason of using the binder is that, for simplicity, say you have a messaging system. Today I have Kafka as my messaging system. Right? And this Kafka is integrated with your Spring Boot. Then you write all publishers. You have a publisher and subscriber. This is your publisher. This is your subscriber. When I use the publisher and subscriber, I should not be using Kafka specific APIs. If I start using Kafka specific APIs inside my publisher and subscriber, then I'm tightly coupling my messaging system to my Spring Boot. The day I decide I don't want Kafka, I want something else, I should be able to forget that immediately. So that is the purpose of having the binder here, enable binding. So enable binding, I give a source.class, and you have to note that in the channel I am saying send, right? So this is your sourcing. But in the subscriber, I use enable binding and use sync.class. And I'm listening to this. I have a stream listener. So that's the way, we are binding. Tomorrow we don't need Kafka binder. We can have something else. And then in the application.yaml, I have the Spring Cloud binding where I say my destination is drug news, where I have opened the topic as drug news, right? Let's see if we have this topic, drug news. So how do I list down the topics in Kafka? It's simple. What I simply do is I give Kafka topics.bat, right? And I just say list, right? Now it is telling me that only one of the bootstrap or zookeeper must be specified. That means it's not enough if I give list. I need to give the bootstrap server or zookeeper. Okay, let's try that. Does it work? No. So option zookeeper requires an argument. So what is the argument it needs? So it needs a local host 2181. That means it needs on which one it is running. Localhost colon 2181. All right, but from where you bought this 2181? So to answer the question from where I bought 2181, let's go back to the screen where we started it. Here we come. We started the zookeeper here, right? And this is our command prompt. We started a zookeeper here. If you go here, then somewhere down the line, you will see that it has been opened at the port 2181. Can you see this? So that is why to list those topics, I give 2181. So the topics which have been created in this one are drug news, Kafka example, JSON, input and all. So that's why, since the drug news topic was created, I was able to publish this. Remember that you have output binding and input binding, where I mentioned the destination, right? So this, the input binding is for your subscriber, output binding is for your publisher. So let's see, let's create another topic like say drug news 1 and drug news 1. Okay, let's stop this one and restart. Let's see what happens. So I created drug news 1, right? Then I stop the application. I'm going to start it, right? Once again. So let's start it. Okay. Now if I publish using my publisher, what's going to happen? Let's see. So here we come, right? Now I'm going to send, and what do you see? You see that has to still get a response. And let me see what's going on here. Do I have the topic listed this time? So it is not referring to news 1. So what I need to do now is that I need to make sure that my postman is still referring a cache. To me, it looks like that. So I'll say new and then request. What happened? Let me put this 14. It's working. So what is important here is that, that in your Postman, you open a new request. Where did the request go? Oh, new collection. Then in this collection, add request to this collection. Just main REQ 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to post something. Post localhost. Okay. Add request because there's nothing in the body, right? So I said this is a post request. Authorization, headers, body, and it is JSON. This is showing me the result, but I need to show the data, right? Let's say raw, and let's say JSON, and then ID equals 1, 2, 3. I think I need to give a comma here. And I need to put this under quotes. Say name. Right. Expected instead of, oh, okay. Okay, our request is already. There we got the response. So what is happening here? It is still caching the old requests and working on that. Let's see the logs. So it is inside published dev. And then it worked, but let's see the logs in detail. Do you see this allowed auto dot create dot topics equals true? So it is creating the topics due to which my application is working. Now here in the drop subscriber.java, I need to have this message now consuming drug published message. Do we have this message? inside publish tab, inside publish tab. I don't have this message inside publish tab, which means that I'm not reading this message. Now consuming drug public message Java. So this is console, right? And what is happening here is inside publish tab, you can see this, but I cannot see the message of the subscriber, which means my application is still not working. I need to analyze now why this is not working. So far, so good. Let's analyze this. So here we come again. We did find out that there was an issue. Our subscriber was not able to consume the messages, and it was not able to. So since it cannot consume the messages were not reaching its destination. So what was the issue there? The issue there was, let's go back and point the issue. If you see this, the consumer is anonymous. Kafka consumer is anonymous. It's not able to recognize the consumer here. Group ID is anonymous. Subscribe to topic. Let's see this. And it says subscribe to topics input, which is not right here. Something is heavily wrong. I just want to show you in a more detailed manner here. So let's examine a working model now. So there's a place where it was not working, and now let's see this, where we started our consumer. So the consumer is getting recognized here. The channel is getting recognized here. The Kafka version is getting recognized here, as you can see here. And that is very important. When a consumer joins a group, it should recognize the consumer. As you see, client ID is consumer 1, and it is telling it has subscribers. So this is, let me go to the postman and then, let me publish the message. So I publish this again, and here you can see the message. So let's do a little code walkthrough now to understand more depth. So what is happening here? Let's not go to consumer first. Let's go to producer. Oh, sorry, publisher. And in the publisher, what am I doing? In the publisher, I have a REST controller, and I'm doing a post mapping at /publish. instead of doing a slash publish, would it be, more meaningful to say publish drug inventory status, and there would be a drug name, so that when I hit the API, I would be able to send the JSON. Let's call this as drug inventory status, and then I'm saving this. Stop and run once again. So this is publisher. So I'm going to use the same here. A postman, by which I'm going to post status, and the name of the drug I would say is ID is say 123, and name of the drug would be amoxicillin. Yeah, so let me put that as an amoxicillin. And then send it. So let's see if I publish this, and then if I'm able to, yes, this is the drug I got, amoxicillin. Now this is about consuming, and let's do a detailed code walkthrough on the publisher. So for the publisher, I have a REST controller which is mapped with the post method to slash inventory status, and I am simply sending a JSON, right, which I showed you in the postman. Let me stop the share and share again the postman. Can you see my screen? Yes, I think so. So I'm going to send it here, and then you see the amoxicillin. So in similar way, now I would go back to publisher. We were discussing not this screen. I'm sorry. So it is this screen where we were discussing about a consumer and a producer. Not sure if you're able to see the screen, but let me reshare this. Consumer publisher. Okay, so this is publisher now, and it's a REST control which is publishing. Observe this, that we are doing enable binding, which means we are binding a messaging system like Kafka. I say that as a source.class here. And the way we enable binding is that we have a format inside the Spring Cloud. If you go to application.yaml, very clearly tells me that the binding is there and it has a destination name, so that there is nothing related to Kafka in this. But the underlying Spring Cloud does understand that we are using Kafka as our system for messaging. So as I indicated in the pom.xml, we include these dependencies, which are very important. The first and foremost dependency is the Spring Framework Cloud, Spring Framework Kafka, and Spring Framework Cloud in turn makes sure that we are doing a binding with respect to Kafka by using the annotation at enable binding. Source.class means this is a producer, that's what it's indicated. And we are auto-wiring a message channel. That is very important. So the annotation is only a starter indication that we are doing a binding, and the annotation which really helps to channel our messages is message channel. So using the message channel APIs, I'm sending the message and also simultaneously building the message with the payload here. And my payload is the business object drug, which is simply having an ID and a name. And this drug is persisted. Observe that I'm using at entity and I'm using Postgres database, which is what it shows here in my dependency. Application.properties. I'm connecting to Postgres database and I mean auto update of Hibernate. Now, there are certain important points which are related to Kafka. I wanted to bring it to your notice. The first and foremost thing is you need to see the batch size, the buffer memory, the idempotence. If you enable that, later I'll deal more on idempotence, but for now we need to understand that idempotence is set to false. Its idempotence is basically the ability to produce the same results every time and the inputs are same, right? So that is idempotence. That is very much needed in message systems. And then we have the serializers. We use byte array serializer when we marshal and unmarshal the message over the network, right? Then we have metrics, and we have retry. The retries right now are given as 0, but we could configure the retries inside. And the messaging systems also need, a resiliency. So we'll have some kind of resiliency in later episodes. But for now, we need to realize that if we need to fine tune, if you need to, configure some of the items like back pressure, monitor certain items like maybe the consumer lag, so that we keep on monitoring the Kafka systems. We'll have to make these parameters configurable. So we will go through one by one. We went through the batch size. Then one question we should really ask here is that what parameters I need to monitor, so that I need to ensure that my back pressure is okay on my consumer, my data rate is fine, my throughput is fine. So we need to have some metrics for that. So you might ask a very important question is, where is my throughput here? Does any of these reflect my throughput? How do I fine tune my throughput if there is an issue? So all these things now begin from my next episode, but for now we need to understand how to make the existing Kafka up. So just to summarize, we saw a messaging system, how it works, and we compared Kafka and the regular messaging system, and we used cloud, Spring Cloud, to bind the messaging system like Kafka. We made a business object, and we made a publisher and a subscriber. We publish messages, we subscribe messages. In the next episodes, we'll be more practical on how to suit Kafka to our needs and how to monitor Kafka metrics. We also will go more deep on how to replay Kafka. For now, this is fine. I'm going to stop here. If you like this video, do send me the likes at the bottom of this. Also, I will be giving the link of the code which I have here for your reference. Thank you.